Welcome to 580 Sports Talk on a Wednesday afternoon. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I am Brendan Dorzinski. Good to hear from you. Good to see you. How you been? I'll be here throughout the day today. Spencer Dupuis will join me in a little bit. Dan Lucero on assignment today. Dan has been in the city of Fountains, Kansas City, Missouri, for Big 12 Basketball Media Day. We are going to hear from Dan a little bit later on in the show. He is going to join us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, top of the 4 o'clock hour, in fact. He will join us on the way back from Kansas City for his thoughts on all the action, all the interviews, and everything else going on from Big 12 Media Day today. That's coming up, again, top of the 4 o'clock hour. We are also going to hear from K-State players, KU players, K-State coach Jerome Tang, KU coach Bill Self, all of them over the course of the program today. We'll hear from the K-State players and head coach Jerome Tang in this hour coming up in the next two segments. We will also hear from the KU players and coach Bill Self in the 5 o'clock hour today, following our 580 Sports Talk headline. So we'll hear from all of them, get all sorts of inside scoops. Dan is going to tell us more about what he saw from KU, from K-State, and other teams around the Big 12 at Media Day coming up later on today. So we're fired up about that. Basketball season's almost here, folks. It is almost here. The first game of the season for KU is Monday, November 3rd. Folks, that is 12 days away. That's right. We've got college basketball just 12 days away at this point, which is hard to believe. K-State, I believe, plays that same day. I'm going to double check on that right now to give you the most accurate information. No, wrong, incorrect. K-State plays in 13 days when they open the season against UNC Greensboro. But we are under 2 weeks away from the start of college basketball season. Today was Media Day. We're going to hear from Dan about everything going on in Kansas City. Here's the most important thing for me personally, because while I love you, I care about you, I also care about me. And I care about what I am getting out of this. And New Era, the hat company, they were sponsoring Big 12 Media Day this year. And everybody got a sweet Big 12 branded hat. This is the first Media Day I have not been to in quite some time. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really hoping Dan swipe me a hat. I will be a little disappointed. Not in him, just generally speaking, if he didn't swipe me a Big 12 hat. Going to look like Rob Lowe, but for the Big 12. All the refs in the Big 12 this year are wearing that specially branded hat. Love it. It's awesome. So we'll obviously joking about that, but we'll talk to Dan about Big 12 basketball coming up in a little bit. I've got some thoughts on both KU and K-State. My big question for each of these teams coming out of Media Day. KU speaking this afternoon. K-State, per usual, spoke early in the morning. It is almost always the case at Big 12 Basketball Media Day that the K-State contingent goes first and the KU contingent goes last. And it is very funny sitting there watching it all happen and seeing KU people start to trickle in. And right before that, you see all sorts of people who work in media in Kansas City start to trickle in over the course of the day. But we've got plenty of basketball coverage coming up. We'll talk plenty of NFL today as well. Major news for next Monday night, the next time the Kansas City Chiefs are in action, because the starting quarterback for Spencer's Washington Commanders is out. No Jaden Daniels coming up on Monday. And look, I think the Commanders have one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. You know, if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you know I am a Marcus Mariota guy. I think he's one of the best backups in the league. I also think this is now on beat them down watch. I think this is on whoop their butt watch. I think the Chiefs might absolutely destroy Washington. I kind of thought the Chiefs would win by a lot going into this game anyway, much to my co-host Spencer Dupuis' dismay. I thought the Chiefs are going to roll anyway, but without Jaden Daniels in there, it might really be a blowout. So we'll talk about that over the course of the show today. Some other headlines, news from the NCAA today that, frankly, I don't love about the idea of changing the eligibility rules from 4 years or 5 years to play 4 with red shirts. And we know about the red shirts and the waivers and, we're just throwing waivers out for everything. And we got a 9-year college football player last year. We've got dudes going into their 7th year and their 4th school in college basketball. I have come around and now really like the idea of 5 years to play 5. You get 5 years of eligibility. And we're getting rid of red shirts. You got 5 years. You can transfer and play somewhere different every year if you want. You can stay at the same place as long as they'll keep you. You got 5 years. Figure it out. I'm in favor of it. We'll find out if that eventually happens, but the NCAA is squashing that for this year. Speaking of eligibility, I'm excited to get to this in the headlines with Spencer today because I think this is a really bad thing for the NCAA. A former professional basketball player, yeah, you heard me, professional basketball player, not from overseas, from right here in the U.S., who played for the G League, is going to play college basketball this coming season. We're going to talk about that and why, probably obvious to you, but why I think that is a terrible, terrible thing for college basketball. We'll get to our headlines. We've got What Is Wrong With You. We will also hear from Tim Fitzgerald at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour today for the Wildcat Wrap-Up on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. We will play One Gotta Go. All that is coming up today right here on 580 Sports Talk. And as always, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on anything we are talking about today, whether that is KU hoops, K-State hoops, Chiefs, you want to have a question for Fitz, whatever it might be. We want you to let us know. I want you to let me know your thoughts on whatever we're talking about today. So hit me up, text line number 785-272-9429 per usual. And you can also find us on YouTube. That's right. Head on over to youtube.com, search 580 Sports Talk. And that is the easiest way to come across our YouTube channel where we live stream the show every single day. And subscribe while you're there. They don't have to go back and search. It's just always there in your YouTube app, on your desktop, your laptop, whatever it ends up being. So easy to find us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel when you go and find the show video stream. Shout out to all the fine folks who are already joining us. Andrew hopping in the YouTube comments. NBA season started last night. It was a fun one in the first game of the year. Rockets versus Thunder. I was off on the edge of my seat. I did not expect to be, and I was digging it. It was awesome. We'll talk about that a little bit in headlines coming up later today as well. But we start with Big 12 Basketball Media Day, still finishing up in Kansas City right now at the T-Mobile Center. Again, we'll hear from the K-State player contingent and Coach Jerome Tang a little bit later on this hour. We'll hear from Bill Self and the KU players coming up in the 5 o'clock hour of the show today. But I have a big question for both of these teams. One major thing, I'll phrase it as coming out of Media Day today. For KU, it's a little bit more big picture. For K-State, it's big picture as well, but it specifically pertains to something that Jerome Tang said today. And I'm going to start, where should we start? I'll start with KU. Darryn Peterson, based on everything that we had heard during the recruiting process, pretty much everything Bill Self has said about the kid, and everyone in the media who has gone to a KU practice so far this year has been welcomed by the program to watch a practice, pick the brains of a couple players, pick the brains of Bill Self and the coaching staff, have raved about Darryn Peterson and said he is the real deal. Whether it is our good pal CJ Moore from The Athletic, whether it is Fran Fraschilla from ESPN and KU fans. I know a lot of you hate the guy. I think he can be kind of annoying. I don't hate Fran. I do think he really knows basketball, and I think he knows talent when he sees it. And he cannot stop talking about Darryn Peterson. And everybody who has been there, from Big 12 Studios and ESPN and CBS Sports, cannot stop raving about Darryn Peterson. Which is why the big question for me for KU, and I think it still is coming out of today, is who's next to him? Who is... This is so cliche. Who is Robin to his Batman? Who is the Andy Richter to his Conan? Who is the Paul Schaefer to his David Letterman to keep that theme going? Who is going to be the other guy? Who is going to... Here's one for you. Here's one that's probably a little bit more accurate, and I'll reference one of my favorite movies. Who is the Brad Pitt to Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I sound so Colin Cowherd right now doing this. But it's true. Because Darryn Peterson's going to be a star. There's a great chance he's going to be an All-American, Big 12 Player of the Year, all of that stuff. Good chance for all of it. Big 12 Player of the Year going to be difficult, JT Toppin. You understand where I'm going with this. Does KU have someone else who can go off and have a big night if DP is not feeling it? If it's got to be a shootout and you are going to overtime and you're scoring 100 points and you got a game like that, are you going to need 60 from DP to stay alive in a game like that? Or are you going to have one or two other guys who can step up, have a big night, and go blow for blow with him? The guy who I think is becoming the trendy pick in this case is the youngest guy on the roster, and that's Cole Rosario. Now, I think if Flory Bidunga put in good work during the summer, spring as well, in the fall, post-boot camp, all that, I think Flory can be a very good college basketball player, and I think there's a reasonable chance we could see Flory Bidunga enter the NBA draft after this coming season. He can be great. But I'm thinking of a guy who can create a little bit more on his own. And Flory, for all of the high ceiling attributes he has, is not the kind of guy I look at and say, you know what? That dude is going to go on his own and make a play. Because centers, bigs, don't often do that. So I'm not really thinking of Flory here. Maybe I'm being too guard-centric, but you know the old adage, guard play wins in March. I think Tre White's going to be really good. Now, he's going to play the four. He's not a true, big four, but that's where he's going to play. Sounds like the team loves him, loves his attitude, the skill set he brings. I think he's going to have a big year, but I don't know that he's necessarily the kind of player I'm talking about. I don't think Melvin Council is. I don't think Bryson Tiller is. Hopefully he's able to contribute coming back from injury, but I don't think he's that kind of player. He's a big anyway. Might even be the backup five. Certainly is going to play some minutes at the backup four. Jaden Dawson, have heard some iffy things about how he's been. Not that he's a bad player, that they have buyer's remorse, but just maybe he has not picked things up especially quickly. I don't think it's going to be Elmarco Jackson, even though I'm rooting for him to get back. The guy who, again, it's the sexy pick right now, but who I think is going to have to be that player is Cole Rosario. Late addition to this class, good shooter at the prep level when he was at Overtime Elite, sensational athlete, another guy who people cannot stop raving about. Is that good enough? And how good does he need to be? Is it, nice player, or no, legit one and done caliber player? How good does Cole Rosario have to be? I think I've shared it on these airwaves, and if I haven't, I'll just repeat myself briefly. I admit, and I'll offer an on second thought kind of mea culpa here. I know we'll save those for Friday, but I was very high on the roster for KU the last 2 years. And 2 seasons ago, I don't have any real regrets about that. Kevin McCullough's weird injury thing derailed that season. I don't feel any sort of remorse about being really high on that team, because I still do believe that starting five was good enough to make a run to a Final Four. In fruition, didn't end up panning out. McCullough had his injury thing. It is what it is. Last year, yeah, I was wrong, and that's fine. I'm willing to admit when I was wrong. Because when you hire a bunch of mercenaries, you don't get the same kind of heart. When you're spending big bucks to dudes who did not devote themselves to your culture from the very beginning, and not to say that they didn't try. I'm not trying to say that Rylan Griffin didn't want to be ingratiated in the KU culture, but he was into his college career already. He was not, beginning as a blank slate. Sometimes you need more guys like that who are your biggest contributors. AJ Storr, I don't think ever quite bought into things. You had all these mercenary players, and look, man, Hunter Dickinson got booed when he was mentioned at late night on the video board. I'm not interested in having discussion about Hunter Dickinson at this point in time. We've moved on. Everybody's moved on, whatever. But there has been a lot of talk from a lot of people about he was not bought in. He was a mercenary. He was just there for the paycheck, whatever. Okay, whatever it might be. I have switched my thought, and I think it aligns with what Bill Self has tried to do with this roster, and that is we are going to, knowing that we might only have this group for a year. This isn't like the old days. You're not getting 3 or 4 years with the core of this team with maybe a one and done in there. No, you have to rebuild your roster every year. Even if you're keeping most of the same guys, you've got to re-recruit them every single year, during the year and in the offseason. So if you're going to do that, you might as well bank on NBA talent. If you're going to say that we're going to have to redo this all again next offseason anyway, you might as well bank on having pros on your team. And that's what KU did. And I appreciate that. And I am in lockstep. I think that is the right way to go. Can Cole Rosario be good enough to fill that role? I don't know the answer to that. That's why I'm asking. And if you feel like the answer is yes, if you feel like the answer is no, I would love to hear from you. But that is number one for me for KU. They've got the superstar. I think they've got the glue guys. I love what Melvin Council brings in his intensity. Same thing for Tre White. Two different kinds of players, but I love what they bring. I'm excited for Flory. But can Cole Rosario be a bucket for you next to the man they call Bucket Jones, Darryn Peterson? If the answer is yes, this can be a Final Four team. This can be a Big 12 championship team. If it is DP and the Pips, he better be as good literally as Danny Manning. That's what it comes down to, because you're going to have a lot of nice role players out there around a superstar. And I think Darryn Peterson can be one of the all-time greats at KU. But you've got to have something else around him so you're not making him shoulder the entire load for a full 32 games or 35, 40, whatever it ends up being. That's my number one biggest question for KU. Cole Rosario is going to start. Bill Self said today in Kansas City that at the exhibition game against Louisville on Friday, Cole is going to start. He is going to be a starter in the starting five right from the get-go this season when they open against UW Green Bay. Let's do it, Cole. Let's do it. If you're that dude, KU's going to be really good. If he needs a lot of time or if he's just pretty solid, ceiling lowers for this team going into this year. For K-State, it's not a question for me about if they believe in their ceiling, because you know who believes in the ceiling of this program? Their head coach, Jerome Tang. He has essentially built this team the same way every year he's been in Manhattan, in the sense that it's a lot of transfers, and he's hyping them up. He's going to lift them up as high as he possibly can lift them, and he's going to make big proclamations. And they brought in talent, legit good talent around a small number of returning players. And if they all mesh, this team can be really good. This team can be a player in the Big 12. This team can make it to the NCAA tournament. If they don't, yuck. Bad. So that is what we are looking at for this K-State roster. And my big question is based on this quote from Jerome Tang today, transcribed for us by Wyatt Wheeler of the Capital Journal. Quote, I think PJ Haggerty is the best point guard in the country. I think Abdi Bashir is the best three-point shooter in the country. I think Mobi Ikegwuruka is the best athlete in the country. End quote. Again, that is from K-State's Jerome Tang. I love and appreciate his energy, his verve, and the positivity he wants to instill in his players. Okay? I appreciate all of those things. You better be right, dude. You better be right. Because his ass is on the line this season. Do you think even the most pessimistic of K-State fans, do you think that another non-tournament season is going to bring Jerome Tang back to Manhattan? I know he's got a hefty buyout, all those things. He got the contract extension a couple years ago. Do you think that another season without a meaningful postseason opportunity is going to give him a chance to come back to Manhattan in 26-27? I do not. I think it is NCAA tournament or bust this year for Jerome Tang, to be frank with you. He has made adjustments. He brought in Matthew Driscoll on his coaching staff while a couple of other guys left. I love this addition. Driscoll, who was previously at North Florida, they were top 10 in the country in tempo this past season. I think it's going to be a fun brand of basketball, going up and down with this positionless, weird body type roster. I think they can be a lot of fun in that regard. He made an important switch there. Also brought Bill Peterson, the longtime veteran coach, onto the roster too. Okay? They went out and they got some real talent. Bashir is a nice player. I think the Johnsons are interesting. McGriff can be, a decent rotational big man. PJ Haggerty is good enough to be an All-American. You know how I know? Go look at what he did the last couple years of his career. The dude is incredibly talented, okay? They've got the pieces. But if you are going to come out in front of God and everyone, and you are going to say, as a head coach with your job and your future on the line, and say that you believe that on one roster, all guys that you have added, you have the best point guard, the best three-point shooter, and the best athlete in the country out of, and let me double check here because the number changes every year with teams continuing to reclassify up. You think you've got the best of the best out of 365 teams. You better be right. You better be right. Because if he's not only K-State fans will you see an entirely new roster yet again next year, you probably will anyway, you will see a new head coach on the sideline. And let's be very clear about this. I'm not rooting against Jerome Tang. I'm not trying to say he can't do all this or that he's wrong. I think Mobi is a great athlete. Bashir worries me. I will be honest about you. Bashir, who transfers in from Monmouth, is skinnier than a beanpole. I think he's a very talented shooter. His body type worries me in the Big 12. PJ Haggerty is one of the most talented players in this conference. And it's an incredible conference, okay? I have no doubt that all these guys can be good. I worry about Bashir. But these guys all could be good. They could be great. That's absolutely on the table. And if that's the case, it's going to be a fun as hell year for Kansas State basketball. And it's going to look great for Jerome Tang. But your job's on the line, man. You better be right about this. And to make such a bold proclamation, that worries me because it's been year over year, all this talk. I remember vividly a couple of years ago at Big 12 Media Day after the Elite Eight run, Jerome Tang talking about guys who were in the portal, who K-State recruited, who chose to go elsewhere, then texted Jerome Tang and his staff and told him, man, coach, wish we would have come with you to K-State. He told us that. I sat there and watched him say that. Since that point, it has been a massive disappointment in Manhattan. And K-State fans, I don't think I'm telling you anything that you don't already feel and know. And I really like Tang, and I want them to succeed. This is high, lofty expectations yet again for this program. I hope they're able to meet it because the future of this staff and this era of the program is going to count on it. And we are going to hear from Jerome Tang and a couple of his players coming up on the other side of this break. We'll hear from the players first. We'll hear from Coach Tang after. We've got KU players coming up later. Dan is going to join us 4 o'clock hour to talk about Media Day. Spencer will be here in a bit. We'll talk to Tim Fitzgerald. All of that and much more coming up on this Wednesday edition of 580 Sports Talk. just getting started today on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Dworzynski here with you. Dan Lucero on his way back from Kansas City. We'll hear from Dan coming up later on in the show. Spencer Dupuis will join me a little bit later on as well. But right now, we are going to hear from some of the fine folks who were at Big 12 Media today, and that includes the players from Kansas State. We'll hear from head coach Jerome Tang in just a little bit, but the K-State contingent of Mobi Ikegwuruka, PJ Haggerty, as well as Abdi Bashir all spoke in a breakout session with the media, including our Dan Lucero. Here is what those three K-Staters had to say at Big 12 Basketball Media Day.
Tell us why you're so excited about coming here and playing for your own team.
Jerome Tang is a great coach. I've been knowing him for a little minute. Just knowing the impact he has of winning and just the players, how much he loves us, and just trying to win the highest level and just trying to win.
What was your first impression of him when he started back in the day?
He was at Baylor when he tried to recruit me. I think I was in 8th grade. I've been knowing him for a minute, just keeping that steady relationship, and now we're finally here.
You work on that handshake he was talking about? He said you had a soft handshake the first time you ever met him.
Oh yeah, he said I got to shake him like a real man. I think it was kind of like just a little calm look. And now we dap it up, hug it, everything.
PJ, what do you like about your new teammates and just getting accustomed to them on and off the court?
I think we have a great individual team. Everybody, we just all love each other on and off the court. Like I said, we play 2K, work out together, just do like regular things, eat, stuff like that, just having fun with each other this year.
Who's winning 2K?
Who's who?
Who's winning 2K?
Me. Yeah, they all know that. They know that, yeah.
When Coach Tang describes you as the best point guard in America, how does that make you feel? But how does it make you want to achieve even more, knowing that he's put you up there in a high lexicon with all those guys?
It gives me the utmost confidence for a head coach to have that much belief in me. Just knowing I have a lot on my shoulder, just being able to just to prove everybody wrong and just prove him right. I would say, yeah.
You entered the draft there for a second. Just what was the feedback you got as you try to improve and raise your stock going forward?
It was great feedback. I went to the draft combine. Everything was great. The feedback I got was just trying to be more of a playmaker, do the little things, defend, just trying to make my other teammates better, become a better leader, just simple things.
How much differently, if at all, are you playing this season compared to what we saw from the previous season?
I would say this year I'll be more of like a leader, on-ball point guard, being able to make plays for my other teammates and just being more of a leader on and off the court.
Abdi, what makes you such a great three-point shooter?
I'll say like repetition and confidence. You gotta have the confidence to shoot, and obviously getting reps in the gym helps, and just having a coach that believes in you is the main thing. I feel like Coach Tang believes in all of us, so it's easy playing for a guy like that.
When you hear Coach say like you're the best shooter in the country, how much more confidence does that instill in you?
Yeah, it's a lot more confidence. Obviously, I have my days where I might not shoot as well as I can, and he'll come up to me and be like, you're still the best shooter like in the country. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have to miss some to make some. So, he just has that confidence in me and uplifts me every time, so I appreciate it for that.
Mobi, what have you tried to add to your game this year to increase your opportunities, your minutes?
I guess scoring a little bit more, getting a few more ball touches and everything.
Yeah. Is there something particularly offensively you're trying to get to that you feel real confident with on the offensive end, a shot or a place on the floor right now?
Yeah, a shot, like a better mid-range shot, honestly. So I can start there, then elevate it to the tree.
Mobi, you were kind of a spark guy last year. Is there anybody on this team right now that plays with that energy?
I would say Elias, our teammate, amazing guy. So,
Abdi, do you see yourself as just a shooter?
Nah. I see myself as, I'm a basketball player at the end of the day. I'm a hooper, and I love the game, and that's what I am, a basketball player.
PJ, what's the secret to getting to the free throw line?
I watch a lot of film, just seeing how people guard me. I say I just try to simplify the game, and free throws, they're free. Everybody loves free things. I love free throws. So just being able to just watch film, know how they're playing me, and just simplify the game.
I heard you say you think this could be the best backcourt in the entire country this season. What gives you so much confidence in this team?
We in the gym every day. I think the energy we have on the court and off the court just builds what we can do the whole year. I think just the chemistry we have I feel like it's one of one.
What stands out to you, PJ, about Constantine, Andre?
Andre, he's young, but he can hoop. I didn't really know much about him, but we brought him in as one of us, and I think it shocked a lot of people this year.
PJ, outside of just like team goals, what like individually are you trying to bring to the table with this group this season?
First, just leadership. Everybody believes in me, believes in my ability, what I can do on the court. Just try to bring it all in and be the best person I can for not myself but my teammates.
All right, as you were in Kansas City, what was your barbecue plate? What you got?
Barbecue plates out here?
Yeah, plate. Like what do you have
barbecue plate? Sausage, ribs, mac and cheese, beans, and probably like a roll.
I got you. Who does it better, Kansas City or Memphis?
Kansas City. We here now.
Abdi and PJ, both of you guys, how excited are you to play in the Big 12?
I'm super excited. It was a dream of mine to play at this level, so I'm ready to go to war every day and battle with these guys every night.
Yeah, like Abdi said, it's a great conference, probably the best, if not one of the best. Just to be able to compete, play against great coaches, other great players, these great group of guys we have should be exciting.
Mobi, you mentioned leadership. How have you worked on being a leader? Do you want to be more vocal? Do you want to get to know your teammates better? Like, how have you worked on that since you're being forced to be a better leader?
Yeah, I would say leadership starts just being more vocal. I try to be more vocal in practice, off the court, just trying to get to know everybody's story. Off the court, I feel like when you build better relationship off the court, it's better on the court. So that's a simple thing, just things like that.
Mobi, you, as one of a handful of returning players on this team, what do you see as your responsibility to help grow the culture and get guys to understand the buy-in it takes to be a Kansas State Wildcat, play at a high level?
Honestly, I would say communicate with these guys. You know what I mean? And talking is a very big part of us when we play basketball. So I think being super vocal will help us a lot.
So those were the K-State players, PJ Haggerty, as well as Mobi Ikegwuruka and Abdi Bashir, who were all in attendance at Big 12 Basketball Media Day today. Everybody always asks new guys the barbecue question, so I appreciate Dan, who you could hear in the background there, actually ask a hard-hitting barbecue-related question, Memphis or Kansas City. The answer, by the way, is always going to be Kansas City. Let's get to another break. We'll hear from Jerome Tang after this on 580 Sports Talk.
I'm Chad Robinson with Your Money Now.
Brendan Dworzinski here with you on 580 Sports Talk today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, whether you're listening on 580 AM, 104.9 FM in the capital city, online at 580wibw.com. Joining us on the podcast, if you're listening after 3:43 p.m., you can find the podcast anytime on Spotify or watching along on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. We are so appreciative that you are spending some of your Wednesday afternoon with us. Tim Fitzgerald will join us a little bit later on in the show to talk K-State, but right now, we're going to go from the K-State players to the K-State head coach. Jerome Tang had some time with the media breaking out earlier today. Interesting stuff as always with the very energetic coach of the Wildcats. So without further ado, here is Jerome Tang from earlier today at Big 12 Media Day.
PJ Haggerty today, just kind of give us the cliff notes about your new guard.
I think PJ Haggerty is the best point guard in America, and he's learning to be a great leader. This year he's required to be more of a leader than he's had to be before. Every place else, they just want him to score buckets. Not that it's a bad thing because he does that really well, but we need a little bit more from him because we want to accomplish something greater. And he's embraced it and just diving into that role every single day. And you just see growth every single day.
How does PJ fit into the flow of what you want to do offensively?
Well, I like guards who can score and they put pressure on the defense, and he can do that. But he's a terrific passer. Like, he's a willing passer and a way better ball screen reader. I thought, but he was never required to do that before, and so he's capable of making reads in the ball screen and getting other guys involved. But the shot clock. 20 times a game, going to be a situation where the shot clock is running down, and that dude can create space and get a shot, or he can get fouled and go to the free throw line.
Coach, what kind of person were you looking for in the transfer portal? Not just player, but person.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We wanted to find players that had some maturity to them, and what I mean by that is, I use this. We want guys who make their beds every morning, right? They have a routine. And if you ask them about their routine, they can tell you what time they get up, what they do, how they go. But when they get their shots up, what they, their recovery process, they can tell you about when they eat and what time they sleep. But guys who have some professionalism to them because there's something that someplace they wanted to get to. And, I found last year that guys who lacked that, it caused me a frustration. And so in this process, they're great guys, actually great guys. They just didn't have a routine to their life. And so purposely looking for guys who had a routine to their lives was a part of our,
Coach,
evaluation.
With the new guys that you got, this happens during the portal era. You probably got, 6 or 7 guys that were the best player on their team last year. In this new era, how have you learned to get that to mesh together?
Yeah, well, we find guys who want to win, and when the first thing they want to talk about is winning, those are my kind of guys. And then in evaluating them through the different avenues, you just find out that their teammates like them. So guys who want to win and guys whose teammates like them, that goes a long way, because in our environment, you can't. You're gonna know you're loved, right? You're gonna know we're gonna connect with your heart. Our goal is to win their heart and then win the day, and we do a great job of that as a staff. And because of that, they buy in more to what we want to do, and we're willing to coach them. Well, we're allowed to coach them a little bit harder.
Coach, what is one lesson that you've learned from last year that's driving your approach this season?
Yeah, that expectation without grace leads to disappointment and frustration. And I learned that I've got to extend grace, that just because these guys are making money, it doesn't make them adults. And I've got to extend grace that they're 18 to 23-year-olds and they're going to make mistakes, or they're going to have shortcomings, and I got to help them grow in that and not be frustrated by those things.
What are you looking for from Mobi Ikegwuruka this year as far as his growth as a player?
Yeah, his conditioning to improve so that he can be on the court longer, and just a more focused approach to developing the skill level that he needs in order to be impactful.
Why is that the best shooter in America?
Because when he shoots it, it goes in. Like, I mean, the results, right? Last year he made 128 threes. The guy who ended up making the most in the year played like 6 more games than he did in the postseason. His work ethic, you know, I walk in the gym in the morning, he's already in there getting up shots, working on it. Like, he's back in the evening. And I've coached some really good shooters, and man, the way the ball comes off his hands and the confidence that he has in it goes a long way.
Is he just a shooter?
No, he's not just a shooter, but you know, to win, you need guys to buy into doing what they do special, and he does that very, very special.
Coach, you talk about buy-in with so much turnover, you know, in college basketball, not only your program, but just across the league. How do you keep that consistency?
Well, I'm hoping the time that we spend with them away from basketball and the efforts we put into building relationships with them, you know, as a person, not just as a coach player, that they see that we have a bigger picture for their life than just winning basketball games, and allows them to like open their hearts to us and embrace what we're about.
PJ had mentioned that team camp at Baylor, 8th grade, when you met him. Can you take me back to that moment and just what you saw in him at that stage of his life?
Yeah, what I remember about PJ is when I met him, that he was a little shy, you know, kind of, and when he shook my hand, it was a terrible handshake, and he didn't look me in the eyes. And I stopped him and I said, "Hey, look me in the eyes and squeeze my hand. And this is how you introduce yourself." And his mom remembered that, you know, and but like, you know, I followed him from 8th, 9th. He was always a bucket getter. He could always score, and recruited him to Baylor, but we don't want him to redshirt, you know, because of the guards we had there, and he didn't want a redshirt. So luckily, you know, things played out and went along, and, you know, I get this opportunity to coach him now.
How tough is it for coaches? I mean, the media in the last couple of years has annoyed Kansas, the national champion, before the season starts without seeing them play together. And coaches have talked about how difficult it is. How tough is the last 3 or 4 years of being coaching at the Division I level been?
Listen, man, I spent 19 years wanting to be a head coach. And then God blessed me with this opportunity. So I don't care what they throw at me. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to embrace it. You know, I feel like I'm built for this. Like, the change doesn't bother me. You know, do I wish it could be different, or I wish we could quickly get to where we need to get to? Sure, you like that, but I'm not going to sit around and pout about this thing. I get to coach basketball in the best conference in America, one of the best schools, like, with the best fan base. I mean, you know, like, there's no complaint on my side.
What do you want to see out of your team Friday with the scrimmage against Missouri?
Just watching them like hit somebody else, and because when you're every day at practice, K-State wins and K-State loses, right? So if the offense is good, our defense sucked. If the defense was good, our offense sucks, right? Like, if our defensive rebounding was good, we're not going to the glass hard enough. If our offensive rebound is good, man, we don't block out a soul, right? So just looking forward to them going against somebody else and then coming away and saying, okay, what do we need to focus in on to help us get, 1% better the next day.
What's impressed you the most about Andre?
His ability to improve within practice. Like, some guys, like, they start off bad and they just don't have a bad day, and maybe they'll come back the next day and get better. Andre can start off bad in practice or have things go wrong, and then he stays grinding and end up turning it into a good practice by the end. And so that lets me know, like, he can start off playing bad in a game and he can flip it at halftime. Like, I don't have to wait till the next day. It's not like, well, Andre's done for this game. He can turn it around within a game.
With the European players, what's the biggest difference maybe you notice in how they prepare, how they practice, given that they have professional experience overseas?
Well, most of them have a routine, or they've been around guys who have a routine, older guys, and so that helps them. But like, what I found lacking is that, the emphasis on the defensive end, because they play so many possessions in the 24-second shot clock, and then when on the offensive rebound, the resets to 13. So they play so many possessions that they don't value every possession the way you have to in the Big 12. every possession matters.
Jerome, why is it important for you to add a guy like Mark Vital to your staff this season?
Well, I tried to add Mark last year, and he wanted to. He didn't want to go to class. Like, Coach, I don't know if I want to go to class and do schoolwork, be a GA, right? Like, because you got to go to class. And then after he went into the workforce, he decided, man, I don't want to be in the workforce. I want to get back to that. That was the process of it. But, having someone who's so close to the guys age-wise and just recently experienced winning the Big 12 championship and the national championship, and now he sees it differently, right? Like, Coach was what this stuff they were asking me to do or on me about really made sense, and so sometimes the players that are in the fire, they can't see the sense of it. And to have someone who's been there say, man, just trust him. I'm telling you, this works. Or he can look him in the eye and say, man, you're not doing what you need to do. Coach is right. It goes a long way. And those guys listen to him, man. It's so our GAs are incredible. The group we have, incredible group of GAs.
Coach, last year there was some adversity, and you made some comments to the students like you need their support. How do you get their support and get them excited about this new season, new players, new teams, starting fresh?
Yeah, let me tell you something about K-State, right? Our students are resilient, and they're loyal, and they're passionate, right? And so, I love their passion, because if you want the passion when you're winning, right, you got to embrace the passion when you're losing, right? Because they're upset if we're not winning, and I'm all right with that. And our staff and our guys have done a great job of going to all the fraternities and sororities and different groups on campus, and getting to know them and spending time with them. And I believe that our students are going to show up and show out, and the group that's going to be on the floor is going to excite them even more.
So that was Jerome Tang, head coach of Kansas State men's basketball. Let's get to another quick timeout. We'll wrap up this first hour of the show on the other side of this break. You're listening to 580 Sports Talk. More for the 3 o'clock hour coming up.
4 fantastic reasons to head to Four Seasons RV.
Finishing up this first hour of 580 Sports Talk, Brendan Dworzinski here with you. We heard from Jerome Tang and the K-State players this hour. We'll talk some more K-State coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, bottom of the hour, when Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com joins us for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. Meanwhile, we'll hear from Bill Self, Darryn Peterson, Flory Bidunga, all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour of the show. Dan Lucero will join us next hour as well on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline as we get his final thoughts from Big 12 Media Day, and I'm going to find out if he got me a Big 12 hat complimentary while he was there. We'll also have What Is Wrong With You and play some One Gotta Go all coming up next hour. I still want to hear from you. Your thoughts on K-State hoops, KU, whatever we're talking about today. Hit us up on the text line 785-272-9429 or drop us a comment on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. We're talking to Dan. We've got What Is Wrong With You and Fitz all next hour right back here on 580 Sports Talk. final 4 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk coming your way. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. I've been here. Thanks for hanging out with me. And now joining me on the other side of the glass, ladies and gentlemen, it's Spencer Dupuis. Welcome, pal.
I'm here.
Got some clapping going on the stream right now. Spencer, welcome to the show. How you been, buddy?
It's been a busy day.
Yeah, one of those days.
Hey, it is nice when we have free food in the office, though.
Yeah, we had some free lunch today. That was delicious.
Usually comes with free lunch means you also have a busy day because usually there's something tied to the free lunch.
There's a reason.
I've been running around today like my head's cut off.
There's a reason that the folks upstairs or downstairs in our case lured us in with food today. Shout out to our good friends from Johnny's Tavern though here in Speak. Oh man, absolutely delicious.
Dude, their
pizza
today. Is so good.
So good. We had a couple extra slices in the fridge. I went and grabbed one during the commercial break. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I'm Brendan. That's Spencer. We're going to hear from Dan Lucero here in just a few minutes. We're going to get Dan on the phone, and he is going to join us to talk all about Big 12 Media Day and his thoughts on everything he heard from KU and K-State, as well as the rest of the Big 12. We will hear from Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. That is at the bottom of the hour. Place of one got to go. We've got our What is Wrong with You as well. See if anyone can knock off the McMess from earlier in the week. All coming up this hour here on 580 Sports Talk. We also want to hear from you. You can find us on YouTube. Head to youtube.com, search 580 Sports Talk. Subscribe while you're there. I haven't checked the YouTube in a few days, Spencer. How we doing with the
835? We're at 833 the other day, so we are continuing to gain subscribers by the day.
Would you look at that? 835.
I think it's I don't know if we'll gain any today though, because you're on the show.
I know you're joking, but it's still not very nice to say. Yes. So if you haven't subscribed, go check us out on YouTube. Again, youtube.com, search 580 Sports Talk. Subscribe to the channel while you are there. It's the easiest way to always find us, know when we're going live with the show, et cetera, et cetera. You can also shoot us a text on the text line, 785-272-9429. Had a few that came in during the last hour. One texter in the 785 says, "Dang, Dan should have gotten him a Big 12 hat as well." Yeah, we're gonna investigate Dan here whether or not he's
also he took a picture with a puppy, and I'm extremely
What?
jealous.
Is he bringing it back?
I don't know. Did you not see his social media posts?
No, I've also been running around doing stuff all day. Damn. All right, well, when we get him on the phone here in a minute, ask him if he brought a dog. If he doesn't show up with a hat for me and a dog for you, I'm gonna be PO'd. Tell you that much. We've got another one here regarding KU basketball from the 785. Who's the KU Scottie Pippen? Cole Rosario. My thoughts exactly. If he can be that guy, KU is going to be really good this year. If he can't, and he's just a guy, we got some real issues here. We have a 785 texter who I'm reading through the history here. Really obsessed with my underwear. That's extremely bizarre from this particular texter. Says, of course, I would defend Fran Fraschilla. KU sycophants stick together. So I'm. Can you help me figure this out? Because you're not a fan of either school. K-State fans say that Fran loves KU. KU fans say Fran hates KU. Do we have a ruling here on which of the other it is? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm not a big fan of him. So
I think the thing I said about Fran was that I think he knows basketball, but he's annoying. So if that makes me a sycophant, well, I guess I'm. Wow, I got to check out a dictionary, I guess. But we do appreciate the text message from the 785. Also this from the 316 regarding K-State. As a former student manager during Tang's first year, I'm becoming very optimistic on the Cats this year. That's what I like to hear, 316. From what I'm hearing, they are coming together off the court well and have some serious talent. Big question is, how will the Bigs handle Big 12 competition, in my opinion? It's a very good text. I appreciate that from the 316. And again, that's what I was saying. I'm not rooting against this all working. I just think it is really, really lofty praise for Jerome Tang to multiple times that he thinks PJ Haggerty is the best point guard in the country, to also add he thinks he has the best three-point shooter in the country and the best athlete in the country. It is hard to have all three of those things on the same roster. And look, I get that he's hyping up his guys. I understand all of those things. I am just saying that when you've built things up a lot in recent years and things have not gone the way you wanted them to, It better click. It better work when you do it yet again this year. So I am very hopeful that this is going to end up working out for this K-State team. I want it to work out. I want them to be good. I want them to be watchable and fun and entertaining again. We'll just, we'll just have to see if it actually ends up panning out for K-State. If you got thoughts on anything that we mentioned about KU or K-State in the opening segment of the show back at the top of the 3 o'clock hour, anything that we heard from the K-State players or from the KU players that are coming up later on, from Jerome Tang, whatever it might be, we want to hear from you. Text line is 785-272-9429, or you can hit us up on the YouTube feed as well. And again, we are going to connect here with Dan in just a moment and get his thoughts from the road on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline as we look back on Big 12 Basketball Media Day. It's always a fun event. I used to always be our representative who went. Dan and Jake would go down to Football Media Day. I'd go to Kansas City for Basketball Media Day. It's always a fun time. It's a really cool environment. Now with more teams, it used to be just 10. And now with 16 there's all sorts of stuff going on. The mascots are around having a good time. And we now have Dan Lucero, our co-host, on the phone on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Dan, important question for you, number one. Did you get me a hat?
I did not get you a hat. They were pretty strict with the one hat per policy, though. They did give me the choice between the relaxed fit, the dad hat, if you will, or the more traditional high crown snapback. I took the high crown cap. I think the high crown with the snapback is a little bit more amenable for me than the relaxed fit snapback. It's a personal preference deal, but it can be a community hat. If you want to come by my office and look at it sometime, you're more than welcome.
A community hat I can look at. Wow. Wow. How thoughtful of you. You can look at this. Wow. Very nice. Very kind. How generous. Okay. Did you at least bring us a puppy? I did not see your Blue Sky account today. I've been running around up until showtime. Spencer tells me you were playing with puppies. Are you at least bringing a dog back to the office?
So that puppy I took a picture with, you can see it 5A Sports Talk on X and my Blue Sky account, Dan Lucero on Blue Sky. That is actually spoken for. I think all of the puppies that were there have found forever homes.
Why did we send you to this? What if you're not bringing us back a dog? You're not bringing us back swag? What were you doing all day?
I'm bringing you back takes. I'm bringing you back that knowledge, that reel. That's what I'm bringing you back.
The real sports talk radio currency, the takes.
And I got some beef jerky if you want some. You can have some beef jerky.
Okay, well, I want beef jerky. I mean, that's a given. Come on. Who are you talking to?
There we go.
All right.
Anyway, back to the puppies real quick. So I forget the name of the adoption service. It's all about, adopting puppies, giving them forever homes. That puppy that I was holding in that picture, I couldn't get a straight answer on this, but apparently that was the Utah women's basketball coach has arranged to adopt that puppy or somebody in their family. So Gavin Peterson, Utah women's basketball coach, if you're listening, you picked a winner. That's a great dog.
I do hope he is listening. That would make me feel very good. We're talking to Dan Lucero, our co-host, who spent all day not getting us swag, but checking out Big 12 Basketball Media Day at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. We heard from Jerome Tang and the players earlier for K-State. We'll hear from the KU contingent a little bit later on. All right, Dan, let's start with K-State because that's who we heard from during the 3 o'clock hour of the show. And I want to ask you specifically about the Jerome Tang quote that has made its way around social media so far today, because I want your opinion, because I know it has been a very strongly reacted to quote so far about, I believe, is what Jerome Tang said, I believe that PJ Haggerty is the best point guard in the country, Abdi Bashir is the best three-point shooter in the country, and Mobi Ikegwuruka is the best athlete in the country. And look, I get that this is him lifting his guys up. I get that this is him injecting a little energy into a fan base that is concerned, to say the least. I don't have a problem with that in theory. To me, though, Dan, knowing, it is my belief that it's tournament or out this year for the Tang regime. I really do believe that because the last few years have been disappointing. I think they've got to get to the postseason. I think they have the pieces to get to the postseason. But if you're going to say lofty things like that in October, my feeling is, boy, you better be right. And these dudes better be really, really good. And this team better be really, really good. I'm curious what your reaction to that quote was.
Yeah, if you've got the best point guard, best shooter, and best athlete in the country all on one team, you better at least be playing some kind of basketball in March beyond the Big 12 tournament. The questions that get asked are pretty uncomfortable ones if you don't accomplish that. But did he say that about Doug McDaniel last year or Tyler Perry the year before that they were the best point guard in the country? Did he say that Brendan Housen was the best shooter in the country last year? Like, they've had good shooters. They've had point guards that came in with a lot of promise and a lot of hype coming in off of the transfer portal. I think this is different. I think Haggerty is a different cat. This is, I think, the best player who's going to put on a K-State uniform in the Tang era today. I know we're talking about a program that since Tang has been the head coach has suited up to All-Americans in Marquise Noel and Keontae Johnson. But P.J. Haggerty's that guy, man, pure bucket getter. Jerome Tang mentioned that, there were things he wasn't asked to do at Memphis as the point guard under Penny Hardaway that he will be asked to do, but that he has a really good aptitude for and will understand how to do right out of the box. I think this is the best player that Jerome Tang has had. And I think if you're starting from there with that kind of player on your roster, that does raise the level of expectation. Also, I loved his answer. Somebody in the breakout, I think it was D. Scott Pritchin, asked why Abdi Bashir is the best shooter in the country. And Coach Tang said, well, when he shoots it, it goes in. So I love that answer from Jerome Tang about Bashir. I mean, everything we've heard says kids' jumpers wet like water. So, yeah, it does. It sets the bar high. But I think Jerome Tang is comfortable setting the bar high for this group. And I think if he were not, he would not have said those things because he notably did not make such lofty claims about players on his roster the last couple of years.
Well, okay, so the one thing about that you mentioned, he did call, and I've got the quote in front of me here, he did call Tyler Perry the best shooter in America when he transferred in from North Texas. Now, best shooter and best point guard are different things, and Tyler Perry got screwed by circumstance a bit. He's a better player, was a better college player than I thought his year at K-State indicated. But the downside of saying something like this is that even if Tyler Perry was forced to play out of position in his lone year in Manhattan, it was not an especially good year for Tyler. And then every time he had a bad game, you had KU fans or Iowa State fans or Tech or whoever would throw that quote back in their face and say, oh, best shooter in America. He went 1 for 6 on Big Monday, right? Like that's the one thing that outside of look, you're lifting guys up. It's media day. You don't have to temper everyone's expectations. I guess that is my one thing for a coach that I do believe, I don't want to say is on the hot seat necessarily, but again, I think they have to make the tournament this year. That's the one thing, are you putting too much pressure on some of these guys?
I think that's a fair criticism. I think the flip side of that is Haggerty's a first-team All-American. I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying lofty things about P.J. Haggerty. That's not just coming from Jerome Tang in that regard. And for what it's worth, yeah, Perry was a really good spot-up and catch shooter. He just never got to do that because he had to have the ball in his hands all the time. Yeah. So he never really got to see the version of Tyler Perry that was the best shooter in America, except for the free throw line where he was cash money. So he wasn't entirely wrong about Tyler Perry. Just like you said, circumstances were a little different for him. But no, I do. I think that I think that he is setting the bar high for these guys, but I don't think, especially given the last 2 years, he would do that if he didn't feel like those kids could walk the walk.
Real quick, as we're talking to Dan Lucero, who is joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline after being in attendance at Big 12 Basketball Media Day today. Abdi Bashir is listed at 6'7", 175 pounds. For reference, add 3 inches to my height and no additional weight, and we're talking about a high major basketball player here. This dude, listed weight, is skinny as a rail. Does he look that thin, that narrow in person?
I would say, I mean, he doesn't look like a stick. I think he's definitely put on a little muscle, solidified. It's a lean frame. He hasn't packed on the pounds, but no, he looks solid. I mean, he looks like not that, you know, a stiff breeze isn't going to blow him over. He's not going to do a lot of banging around inside, but they're not going to ask him to do that. They're going to ask him to catch and shoot when Haggerty creates. They're going to ask him to make shots from the wing, make shots from the corner, and if he's as capable of doing that as Jerome Tang says, then that's an element that this team is really going to need, and that space on the floor will allow Haggerty more room to operate.
I gave you some credit earlier because we heard the player audio that you collected for us from Bashir and Haggerty and Ikegwuruka, and I mentioned that every time someone transfers in or they sign with the Chiefs or the Royals or whatever, there's always the barbecue question. Is, oh, have you tried barbecue yet? I appreciated that you went a step beyond that and actually asked some hard-hitting journalism, Memphis or KC barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, the people need to know. And as somebody who has had both on multiple occasions and enjoyed both, I was curious as to his answer, but he went with a diplomatic route. He said, "I'll go with where my feet are," which I understand. But yeah, somebody had to ask the hard questions in there, and I was happy to stand in the gap.
All right, let's flip things over to KU here. What is your big question for this KU team coming out of Media Day? I shared mine earlier. I'm curious how close to lockstep we're in with these. What is your biggest KU question coming out of today?
I guess it's, can Cole Rosario score?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably Bill Self's biggest question about this, because I asked directly. My question to Bill Self, and you'll hear it later on, was what's Big 12 ready about Cole Rosario? And the athleticism is what's Big 12 ready. His physicality and his ability to play vertically, and his frame, for a freshman, very mature. He's able to mix up physically as a Big 12 player. The question is going to be scoring. There was a lot made during the transfer portal process. KU was looking for a 14-point-a-game scorer. Like that, those were Bill Self's almost exact words. They needed a guy who could go get them about 14 points a game. And they thought they had that guy in Darryn Williams, and it didn't work out. They thought they had that guy in Dame Sarr, and it didn't work out. And it turned out there was nobody else really in the transfer portal who was realistically going to be that guy. So now it falls on Rosario. But, man, the buzz for him has been consistent going back to the summer. I talked to Brian Haney, voice of the Jayhawks, at football media day in the summer, and he was telling me, man, Rosario's turning a lot of heads in practices this summer. He's really opening a lot of eyes. So they like him a lot. He's going to start the exhibition against Louisville on Friday night, and he'll probably start the season opener too. The question is going to be, okay, he can do some things physically. He's not going to be overwhelmed physically and athletically out there, but can he be a consistent source of offense that this team is going to need? That to me will be the difference between KU being, a tournament team that, hopefully they can make the second weekend, to a Kansas team that we are more accustomed to seeing over the years, which is a top 3 seed, a real contender in the Big 12.
Dan, what were your thoughts with speaking with one of the best players in the nation for KU that they just got as freshman, Darryn Peterson, as his first media day?
Well, I think he is accustomed to the spotlight, because I think all players now, when you get to college and you're a high school freshman, but if you've been under the microscope, you're used to it by now because of the way high school basketball gets covered, the way recruiting gets covered. He's used to being under the microscope. He's used to having his game critiqued, and he's used to being the guy in the spotlight, and he feels comfortable in that. I feel like Bill Self has been consistent in talking about him, that he really likes his skill set and has really been impressed with how well Bill Self said today, how well he feels the game, it's a little bit of coach speak, but it makes sense. And I think what you're talking about with regard to Peterson is a player who isn't going to shy away from the expectation. He's not going to back down from the expectation that he can be all Big 12, all America, lead this team to a conference championship. I think he wants that smoke.
Couple more questions for Dan Lucero, joining us via the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline after taking in Big 12 basketball Media Day today. All right, what were some of the other headlines for you, Dan? What stood out? What were a couple of the big things that really made your eyes pop at Media Day today?
So lately there's been some discussion about the possibility of players who have played in the NBA's G League of retaining college eligibility. There's been a lot of discussion about that, particularly guys who played for that G League Ignite, which was meant initially to be kind of a secondary option to college basketball. Was, okay, you don't have to go play college ball. You can go get paid right out of high school. You play for this G League Ignite. And they've had a couple of guys drafted out of that program, Scoot Henderson probably most notably. But now you're having guys who played in that program who are looking at maybe having some college eligibility. And when Jerome Tang was asked about it, he said, look, I don't see how the G League is any different than, Elias Rapiek played professional basketball in Germany. Why would it be any different to have played professional basketball in the United States and maintain college eligibility, which is a wild thing to think about. And then it got wilder when Jerome Tang said he's heard from representation from somebody who has played NBA games, like the league, real NBA National Basketball Association games, that is seeking to perhaps return to college basketball. And that blew my mind into smithereens. Like, I really don't know how you're supposed to keep track now as a college basketball coach of all of the avenues that are available to you in recruiting. If you can now go get pros out of Europe, and maybe now you can recruit pros from the United States, like, the job just keeps getting harder and harder to keep track of all of the avenues you might have to try to bring talent into your program. That blew my mind.
We are going to talk about that a little bit in the headlines. I don't really know how, and I know this sounds over the top, but like, how does college basketball survive that? Like, and I understand the international thing, and yes, that is an argument to be made, and I will listen to that. But like, they're professionals. They made money that was essentially trickled down from the National Basketball Association, the world's foremost professional basketball league, and now they're gonna go back and play college ball. Like, I don't think that long term, man. I don't think the sport can survive this. I really don't.
Not in its current form. It'll
Nope.
look a lot different if that's allowed. At that point, it essentially becomes minor league professional basketball. And I don't know that a lot of will really have it. We'll see. Like, there's got to be some common sense that enters the picture in some point, you would think. But man, when Jerome Tang said that, I about flopped. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Dan Lucero, our co-host, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline after taking in all the sights and sounds from Big 12 Basketball Media Day earlier today. Dan, we appreciate the time, and unless you find one of those Big 12 hats on your way back, don't come to work tomorrow.
Or a dog.
I apologize for my lack of extra hats and puppies, guys. I'm only one man. I can only do so much.
All right. Thanks, Dan. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you guys.
That is our Dan Lucero joining us again on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Let's get to a commercial break. Tim Fitzgerald is going to join us a little bit later on for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. And, of course, we've got What Is Wrong With You coming up next. All coming up this hour, 580 Sports Talk. What is wrong with you time here on this Wednesday edition of the show. Brendan and Spencer with you. Our current winner for the week is the McMess. We've got two other news stories. We'll go quickly here so we can get to Fitz. Spencer, why don't you lead us off?
All right, we're going to go to our favorite place, that is Florida.
Favorite? I don't know about that.
Favorite place for these stories.
Oh, true. Yeah.
A Volusia County father has been accused of being tied to distributing photos of toddlers and infants with firearms, drugs, and alcohol. Taylor, I'm going to say his name is Nope, 27 of DeLon. Nope. Yeah.
Great name.
Of DeLion Springs was taken into custody Sunday after Volusia County deputies and child welfare officers responded to allegations of images involving children posing with drugs, alcohol, and a handgun.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this guy's sick.
Ugh.
The photos depicted an infant and a toddler in staged scenes involving marijuana, a Glock-style handgun, and a beer bottle. The residence was also deemed unsafe with exposed wiring, unfinished plywood walls, and partially missing ceiling, according to the arrest report. He denied taking most of the photos, just admitting to staging one of them as a, quote, joke. Deputies charged him with child neglect, citing both the photographic evidence and hazardous living conditions.
Oh my God, dude. This dude sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Putting a gun next to a kid as a joke. What a loser.
Yeah.
All time. All right, my story today. We are also, I believe, going down to Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Cape Coral, Florida, where we meet 23-year-old TikTok influencer Marlena Velez, who was arrested in November of 2024. You had to go all the way back 11 months to last November when she was arrested for allegedly stealing $500 worth of items from Target by scanning false barcodes with cheaper prices on them. She then posted her haul on TikTok, where she has 360,000 followers. Police say they found a video that she posted on TikTok getting ready on the day of the theft, wearing the same outfit as the woman seen on Target's security video. She also recorded herself picking out the items and taking them home with her. So she got arrested doing a get ready with me video. And you say, okay, well, that's stupid, but that was 11 months ago. Why is that relevant? Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you why. Almost a year later, this week, Cape Coral, Florida police found Velez driving and initiated a traffic stop because she had an active warrant for violating her probation. Velez initially stopped, but when officers approached her car, she sped away. 2 weeks later, police found her vehicle and conducted another traffic stop. When officers approached the car, attempting to hide. She laid on the floor of her car and tried to hide. She was transported to Lee County Jail, charged with violating probation and fleeing and eluding police. She remains booked in jail without bond. Again, if you are already in trouble for having committed one crime, do not commit another crime. Don't do it. Spencer, I'm going to vote for yours because it's sickening to me. But I generally don't vote for horrible people to move on. So I'm going to stick with the McMess from yesterday and our guy Grady Judd.
Yeah, that's a story that might win the entire week. It's looking like that. It started on Monday and might go the distance. Dude, the guy was going to be fine. The employee was going to be fine, and then he decided to pick up the round after he shot it.
Terrible.
And then got arrested for tampering with evidence.
Absolutely terrible.
Come on, man.
The McMess. He is once again our winner in What Is Wrong With You. Coming up next, it's never wrong with us when we visit Tim Fitzgerald. Well, maybe a little bit wrong when we visit with Fitz. Tim Fitzgerald up next, 580 Sports Talk. what a big victory it is for us every single Wednesday, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour, when we get to chat with our good pal, Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. It is the Wildcat Wrap-Up on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Fitz, did you make it out to the T-Mobile Center today?
I did not, but I had 3 guys there, and I just got the car keys back from them as they returned. So it's always a hectic event when you do it all in one day, but it's a good way to do it, too.
Did you see whether or not they got their complimentary Big 12 hats today?
I have no idea.
See,
quit giving them gifts. They've been bad boys and girls. Well, they're only boys, but, you know.
So here's the thing. We found out about this yesterday, and Dan said that he was going to bring me back a hat. And then he didn't. And frankly, I'm mad about it, and I told him not to show up to work tomorrow. So I hope your guys were able to get them. I hope they were able to get them for their friends as well. And Dan's not here to defend himself, so I can keep saying this.
Oh, my gosh, you're a horrible boss, and here's why. Get mad at him and then say, because of that, I'm not showing up at work tomorrow.
There you
do
go.
the work.
There you go. That's a great point. No, that's tremendous. We've got obviously a lot of football to get to this week, Fitz, with the Sunflower Showdown coming up this weekend. And oh boy, is it a big one. But it is Basketball Media Day, so we might as well start there with Cats Hoops.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you about the Jerome Tang quote that has gone at least semi-viral on social media today, when he said that I believe that he has the best point guard, the best athlete, and the best three-point shooter in the country in Haggerty, Ikegwuruka, and Abdi Bashir, the guys who are there. And I love that he's hyping up his guys. You know, I love the energy Jerome Tang brings to the table. I have a little bit of worry that in a year when I think his job is probably close to on the line, they need to make the tournament. This is setting yourself up in case things go badly for them to turn really bad. Do you like the approach, or do you think this is setting expectations even too high?
Well, I guess I've been around Bill Snyder too long. You know, he always talked about there's always room to get better. And I think I would only prefer it if has the potential to be. Because, you know, you're saying you're already arrived, and they haven't even started playing games yet. He's prone to hyperbole. We've known that now for a while. And this is an overstatement, but he also doesn't mean it literally. You know, it's kind of I love these guys, his way of saying that. But yeah, just when you type it out and put it up on social media, it doesn't sound good.
Tim Fitzgerald is our guest, covers all things K-State, is the publisher of GoPowerCat.com. Joins us every Wednesday at this time for the Wildcat Wrap-Up on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Anything else that happened at media today that really tickled your fancy?
Well, I haven't seen all the coverage yet. I thought it was just interesting who K-State took. Haggerty's a no-brainer, and you know, you got the other guys, but Mobi just really surprised me. Bashir, he's going to be a main part, but Mobi, if he's the best athlete in the country, he better be starting, because Mobi is a great athlete. I was just really surprised they brought him along.
I think Bashir can be a really good player. My big worry and I don't think he's just a three-point shooter. I think he's more skilled than that. I know basketball folks believe the same thing. My worry, Fitz, is just that frame playing against Big 12 competition. He's listed at 6'7", 175. I'm tall and skinny, and he's 3 inches taller than me, not including his hair, and he's the same weight that I am. I would die. Like, I'd go against Big 12 competition, and I would just die on the floor in Lubbock or wherever else. Are you at all worried about that frame against Big 12 competition?
Yeah. I want to see the brand of basketball they're going to play, but I think they've got a couple guys that, when they're on the floor, might be defensive liabilities for reasons just like that. But we'll see how they use him, how they put him out there. He might have been a little surprised that they took him, because I think there's some questions around the completeness of his game. But as another guy that weighs roughly 175, I would not hold up in Big 12 basketball either. Roughly-ish, 175-ish.
Yeah, give or take, 2 or 3. I think that's entirely fair. I will say, and I do believe that you and I talked about this at the time when the hiring was made, Fitz. Matt Driscoll, I think, is going to change this program so much for the better. Associate head coach, top 10 team in tempo last year at North Florida. Like, I think that's one that has kind of flown under the radar. It's been the offseason, football's going on. You don't really think about it, but I genuinely believe that of all the acquisitions for this team with the new transfers, that might be the most impactful of any of them. That style he played with the Ospreys was so fun. And this team needs an injection of fun basketball after the last couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. And he pays a lot of attention to detail. And Jerome Tang is kind of a big picture guy. He's the ultimate salesman. You kind of need that basketball coach, but you need that other layer of hands-on really getting down and teaching it. And that's just, he can do that, but that's not really where his strength lies. And I think last year we saw they didn't really have a guy to step into that. Now, Matthew Driscoll comes with that attention to detail. Man, he'll get after you. He'll get after you if you don't put your foot in the right place to do that or this. And he really is honed in on the offense. He's in charge of the offense. Others are in charge of the defense. I expect K-State to be fun and attack the rim.
Man, I love to hear that. I had not seen any, specific practice notes like that. I love hearing that because I know I told you this, and I'm not trying to take shots at anyone in particular from previous staffs, but it felt to me like things had gotten stale with the group of assistants previously. Maybe the messaging wasn't getting through. It wasn't working the same way it previously did for one reason or another. There could be many reasons for that. But getting someone in there who's going to run something great and get after your ass, I think is really important. And Bill Peterson, throw him in there too, that same kind of thing, veteran who's been around. I just think that getting some new voices in the room, along with an influx of talent, a legit All-American in Haggerty, I think it's going to do wonders for this team.
I agree. They brought in some veteran coaches who have been around a long time, and the more knowledge you can pour into these players, the better off they'll be. And they always look like a team, last two seasons that hadn't paid a great attention to detail. They might play well in stretches, but when it came down to making the right pass or play or taking the right shot, they hadn't paid enough attention to detail in practice. And I think those days are over.
Tim Fitzgerald is our guest. It's the Wildcat Wrap-Up here on 580 Sports Talk. We do it every single Wednesday at this time with the publisher of GoPowerCat.com. All right. Huge game coming up in Lawrence this weekend. Massive game for both of these programs. One team is trying to prove, hey, we can finally do it. The other team trying to prove we're still the big dogs, even after all the drama that they have gone through this year and the consternation and the endless Twitter fights and all of that. What's your initial read on this game, Fitz? Does this feel like a K-State team to you that is as locked in as they need to be for what probably will be about as hostile of a David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium as we've seen in, since 2007? It might be that long. Are they as locked in as they need to be?
I don't know. This team's been a little bit all over the board. They were certainly a lot better the last 3 weeks, but then they took another week off. And a lot can happen to a team in a week. They can improve or, kind of forget what got them there. So I don't really know what we're going to see from them in terms of focus and ready to overcome that kind of energy, because I think KU fans with the new stadium are really stoked. And it's just a more fun place to watch college football. It's obvious. But I got a question for you, because it's been a point of debate. Which coach is under the more pressure here? The guy trying to keep the streak or the guy trying to break the streak?
Oh, man, it's a great question. I think it's got to be Leipold, right? Like, I understand that there has been a lot of yelling about Chris Kleiman, and the more unhinged of the K-State fan base is, I'm going to stop donating to the school if Colin Klein doesn't get hired. Like, I see all that stuff too. But, like, that guy's won this game. He's never lost this game, in fact, and he's won a Big 12 championship and been to a Sugar Bowl. Like, all the consternation, he still has accomplished that. And I think what Coach Leipold has done at KU, and as an alumnus of that school, Fitz, like, I think he's done a remarkable job, and I don't want him to go anywhere else before he retires. I want him to retire in Lawrence with a bunch of wins and bowl games and all that. But, like, the way K-State has started this year, the way KU has played, and the way KU's quarterback is playing, he's been as good as anyone in the country this year. Like, you're at home, new stadium. Yep. It's going to be on big TV. Like, I personally think the pressure's got to be on KU here.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, by the way. I hope Leipold stays. What's going on in Wisconsin, it has to be a little concerning. But
Yes,
I think he's at the right place. He's the right guy for the job, and I think this is going to sound drastic. I think it helps him want to stay if he breaks the streak. I think he feels like it's more his program to the nth degree now because I ended that streak. But it will be interesting. I think there's a lot of comparison between these two teams. Their strengths and weaknesses kind of line up with each other. But the thing that you mentioned that has changed about last year is a certain quarterback isn't turning the ball over like 3 times a game, which is what it felt like from Daniels. He's been very good, particularly cutting down his interceptions. He had 12 interceptions last year of the season. He has 2 or 14 interceptions. It's amazing. And he's already thrown more touchdown passes than he did all last year. So that adds up to a lot. And, if you go back and look at these last 2 games, K-State had it won. Kansas had them won, and they gave those games to K-State. They gave them to K-State. And last year in Manhattan, there was a turnover from Jalen Daniels. I think he's going to be really good on Saturday. I think he's got a point to make.
We're joined by Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com here on the Floating Place One and Spirits Hotline. And Fitz, a lot is being made of this quote from Des Purnell that's kind of gone viral on social media and had it's kind of bulletin board material, kind of it taken out of context on the social media post. But what do you think about him potentially giving some bulletin board material to KU?
He said a lot of nice things about KU, and the one thing he said, I think we're better or whatever, was lifted out of that, and that kind of bothers me. But that's how rivalries work. There's no common sense or fairness to these rivalries. You just try to find whatever edge you can.
All right, Fitz, if K-State is going to go in there and win it, they're going to make the hour-long trip, whatever it is, 90 minutes, whatever the heck it is. I don't live there anymore. I don't remember how long the drive is. They make the drive to Lawrence. They go into the booth. They pick up a win against KU. What will be the roadmap? What is the map to get to the treasure for K-State to pick up the quote-unquote upset win? I don't think either of these teams should be favored. I'd call this a pick-em, to be completely honest with you. But what is the roadmap for K-State to get it done?
Yeah, that 2.5 points, I think, is just home field. I think it'd be it was in Manhattan. It'd probably
Good point.
2.5. Well, they need to maintain the ball. I mean, they just have to control the ball and run it. When KU's gotten in trouble in games, they've given up gobs of rushing yardage. And that not only hurts them in the sense of they're getting run over and demoralized, they don't have the ball for their offense. So I think that's key number one. K-State's going to have to be highly effective running the ball, and I don't know if they've proven they can do that with or without Dylan Edwards at this point. So that's interesting. And also, the K-State defense has had issues this year, but when they've been better, they get opponents off the field on 3rd and 4th down. When they go into collapse mode is when they just can't stop a 3rd and 4th down conversion. They just can't do it. So those are the two sides of the ball. But in some ways, I think it's going to come down to these quarterbacks. It's a quarterback duel, and if a quarterback clearly plays better than the other guy, and that might be caused by a defense causing that poor play, I think we're going to see the victor with that. Whoever the better quarterback is going to come out of this.
Tim Fitzgerald is the publisher of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. There is nowhere better to get all the best insight into what's going on with K-State athletics. Fitz, as always, my friend, we appreciate the time. Will you be in Lawrence this weekend?
You know what? I won't, because I got 2 guys going to the Friday night scrimmage in Columbia, basketball scrimmage. So they're hitting it on the way back. And then Cole Carmody is my recruiting guy, and he kind of needs to be there pregame to be down on the field. And I'm like, okay, well, someone needs to host a postgame show. I really wanted to see the stadium. I guess I'm staying home. So, yeah, I'm not. But I will be hosting the PowerCat postgame podcast as Brian Hanley immediately following the game.
Well, we can't wait to check that out. We'll make sure that our guys, Dan and Spencer, are nice to your guys, and we'll talk to you soon, Fitz. Thanks so much.
Okay, brother. Good to talk to you.
That is the great Tim Fitzgerald. We've got to get to a commercial break. We'll come back, play a real quick round of One Gotta Go on 580 Sports Talk. All right, real quick, one got to go here, Spencer, before we get to the top of the hour. I'm going to take Haggerty. I guess we'll just do 3 because I think a lot of people are really high on Flory Bidunga as well. So I'm going to take Darryn Peterson, Flory Bidunga, and PJ Haggerty out. Of the other 3 local players who went to media today, so we're talking about Tre White for KU, Mobi Ikegwuruka, as well as Abdi Bashir. Who is the most likely, reverse one got to go, who is the most likely to be all Big 12?
I think Abdi.
The shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if he can score a lot of points, he's going to get his name up there.
I think Tre White is going to be extremely important for KU, but I don't think he's going to put up the number. Like, maybe he could be an honorable mention. I could see that. I will say this, and I agree with what Fitz said a few moments ago when we talked to him. If Mobi Ikegwuruka is legitimately the best athlete in America, if that is the truth, it's him. Because if you're talking about you've got the best athlete in the country on that team, along with more talent than you've had in past years, yeah, that dude can be all Big 12. I'm skeptical of that being the truth, but that'd be the answer. I really like White. I just don't know that he'll have the production. We've got 1 hour left of 580 Sports Talk. We've got headlines. We'll hear from Bill Self. We'll hear from the KU players, and we'll hear from you as well. It's all coming up after the news on 580 WIBW. the final hour of 580 Sports Talk coming your way on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel where we live stream the video of the show every single day. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. Joining me today, the one and only Spencer Dupuis. Dan Lucero is out the rest of the day. He joined us last hour from Kansas City in Big 12 Basketball Media Day. He'll be back in the saddle again with us coming up tomorrow. We heard from the K-State contingent at Media Day earlier on today in the 3 o'clock hour. But Jayhawk fans, don't worry. We're going to hear from KU later on this hour. We had 3 Jayhawks who were in attendance player-wise. We only got to hear from 2 of them. Tre White was busy. So we got to hear directly from Darryn Peterson as well as Flory Bidunga. Had about 5 minutes with the 2 of them. And then Dan heard from Bill Self as well as he gets ready for year 23 at the helm of this KU program. That's coming up later on this hour. We, of course, also have our 580 Sports Talk headlines here in just a moment. We want to hear from you as well. I'm looking right in the camera. I want to hear from you throughout the rest of the show today. Your thoughts on K-State hoops, KU hoops. We'll get to some Chiefs here in a minute during our headlines and some other big headlines from around the world of sports as well. We want to hear from you either on the text line, 785-272-9429, or you can drop us a line on the YouTube feed. Again, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. You can watch the show live every day. You can watch us. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that great? You can look at Spencer's big, majestic beard any day that you want. Do you manicure it? Like do you
bit,
neatly, trim it to shape it and stuff?
No, I go to the barber for that.
Yeah, no, I get. You don't put it in the what do they call it? The beard butter.
I do some of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I beard butter it in there.
What is that, to keep it like shapely? Like what is the point of it? I guess.
For me, it's the hair gets less coarse.
Okay.
Like it makes it feel smoother for me.
See, my facial hair sucks. Like I could never grow the.
It's okay.
The kind
I'm
of
finally
beard.
embracing the mustache.
Yeah,
mine took a little bit. I'd get so far and it get irritating, and then I'd shave it, and then I'd look weird with just a chin strap. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go through the annoyingness, and here I am.
Yeah, mine looks like crap. Sometimes I just get lazy. I've been trying to keep it no more than a little stubble for now. A little bit looks okay, but yeah, it's bad, man. It's really, really bad. I will never forget. I share this story all the time, but I will never forget when we were coming back, I think, we were either going to or coming back from the Final Four in 2018, and I was growing it out while KU was playing. And I made that comment to Jake and Dan, and both like, oh, that's why you're doing it. I'm like, okay, yeah, thanks, guys. And then Dan said to me I shouldn't be allowed near a school while I was growing it out. And like, yeah, it was gross, but I was also like 23, and I was like, oh, man, is that bad? It was. It really was that bad. Good to see everyone who's hanging out with us in the YouTube comments today. Mark B, Mark H, Paul, Vance, everyone who's been hanging out with us over the course of the show today. Andrew was in a little bit earlier. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and spending some time with us.
Shout out to our new sub during the show.
836.
Yeah.
900. We're doing karaoke. Did you guys determine, like, are we going to put the song nominations in a hat and then pull them for everyone?
Yeah. So we're going to solicit song.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
People.
I need to, when we get closer, I need to have a little closed door meeting with you about this. I will participate. We're all going to participate, but I've got something in mind for someone who works on this show. So we'll have to have a meeting at some point before we get started for that. All right, let's get to today's 580 Sports Talk headline, shall we? Before we get to KU audio from Media Day coming up in a little bit. First headline of the day, Spencer, you probably have as many details as any of us, so I will let you take it away, talking a little Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Commanders on Monday night.
Yeah, there was some doubt, and personally, I think it's a smart move. Right. I think it's a smart move. The Commanders are being cautious with Jaden Daniels, and he will not play Monday night against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. He has been ruled out. Multiple sources have confirmed to Washington football team insiders. No official word from the team yet because it's a Wednesday, but it's a Wednesday of a Monday Night Football week, so there's no media today at in Ashburn at Commanders, whatever they're calling it now. at the park. So Marcus Mariota will make his third start in 7 games for the Commanders. He started weeks 3 and 4, and now we'll start here in, what are we, week 8 now? We coming up on week 8 or was
yeah,
it
week 8. Holy smokes, dude. We're about to be in week 8. Week 8 starts tomorrow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. You have a text here addressed to you from the 785. Daniels is ducking smoke. Do you have a comment about this accusation?
No, all I know is that I've made this comment on the show before. I will be in attendance. I'll be in the press box. Got my parking today.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm going to be less worried now.
That's true.
Even if he was hurt or even if he was playing, I'd still be worried sick that he was going to get hurt while playing in this game.
I remember when Alex Smith came back from his injury. I'm sure you remember this game. First game back, and Aaron Donald jumped on his back during, I think it was the first half of his first game back. And everybody who was watching that Rams versus Washington, whatever their name was at the time,
football team,
like, oh my God, his leg is going to snap again. Yeah. Everybody was scared. I get it. Like, Washington needs to win because that division suddenly is like way more difficult than I think anyone expected it to be, or many people expected it to be. So you got to get wins, but like, would you rather have him out there for this game against the best team in the AFC in all likelihood in a non-conference game, or have him back for the home stretch knowing he'll be 100%? Like
100% that.
Guys want to be out there, and I don't like, generally speaking, I don't like anything that amounts to some kind of quote-unquote load management, but I get where you're coming from. I completely get where you're coming from.
You know who could see a lot of targets because he practices with him on the second team if he gets into the ball game? Former K-State tight end.
Ben Sinnott. Oh, sure. How has Ben Sinnott been playing this year?
He's more of a blocking guy. Which is wild because
actually
they drafted him in the second, third round.
Also,
okay, so
he's tough. He's strong. We know that from his time at K-State.
Zach Ertz is sitting there still.
Yeah.
Like, Zach Ertz is still the number 1 tight end on that team, and he's not injured, so he's not going anywhere.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like, I never would have thought Ben Sinnott would be a blocking tight end in the NFL. I never thought that would be his role. But yeah, that's a big one. Mariota's going to go. I don't know what the spread was before this was announced, but
I think it was all but assumed after he came out of the game.
Yeah, the Chiefs are a 12.5-point favorite at Prairie Band Sportsbook. So that'll be one of the biggest spreads of the week around the NFL. Let's get to some other headlines today. Where do we want to go with this one next, Spencer? Why don't we go to something Dan was talking about a little bit earlier? It was one of the big talking points at Media Day today that 2 former G League players, the NBA G League, formerly the D League, then Gatorade bought a sponsorship, have committed to play for NCAA college basketball teams. Again, guys who played in an American professional organization who are now going to play for college basketball teams this year. The notable information, it was earlier this week on Monday when former 4-star recruit London Johnson, who spent 3 seasons in the G League with Ignite, and then after Ignite dissipated, he went to the Maine Red Claws, I think. He averaged 7.6 points as a professional last year. He announced his commitment to Louisville this week. Last month, Thierry Darlin, another G League player, announced his commitment to Santa Clara, 2 Division I schools. Tom Izzo of Michigan State was asked about this last night, and he responded like this. Quote, I am going to get myself in trouble, but I listen to people talk about how kids changed. Kids aren't the problem. We're the problem. This was sprung on us again yesterday, where a guy can be in the G League for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's eligible. Most of my people knew nothing about it. I'm not real excited about the NCAA or whoever is making these decisions without talking to us, just letting it go. They're afraid they're going to get sued. Look, I get it that the NCAA doesn't want to get sued and everyone can just have eligibility and all these things. You don't think you'd have a leg to stand on by saying this guy who played in a league owned by the NBA is not allowed to play in what is still technically an amateur sporting. Like, I can't imagine that there's no leg for them to stand on at all. According to this is written by Myron Metcalf of ESPN. Per the NCAA's Division I manual, any athlete who has been compensated as a pro beyond actual and necessary expenses, which includes health insurance, meals, lodging, cannot play college basketball, but the NCAA has bent those rules for multiple international prospects who've participated in pro leagues overseas. Again, I understand the gray area there, and I understand not wanting to go into slippery slope territory, but these were NBA-owned organizations, the international top of the charts professional basketball league. You can't allow this. You can't. It's so... I think this is terrible for college sports. I really do. I really, really do. And look, like, I think... I don't want to go over the top, but we are literally taking guys who were paid money by the NBA, ipso facto, are now allowed to be eligible to go back to college. That should not be allowed. There should be no way, no world in which that is allowed. Doubling down on that, to add to the things making me upset about the NCAA today, is that the organization says that the 5-year eligibility rule will not be implemented next academic year. So it would have to be no earlier than 2027, 2028. According to Josh Whitman, Illinois' athletic director, he's the chair of the Division I cabinet, said during the October meeting, the D1 cabinet determined that for the remainder of the current academic year and rosters competing for next year, it will maintain existing eligibility rules as they pertain to student athletes competing in no more than 4 seasons of athletics competition in a particular sport over a consecutive 5-year period. So again, this rule, we talked about it, 2 months ago, maybe now, Spence?
Yeah.
It would be no more red shirts, no more 5 years to play for. You get 5 years of eligibility, and you could theoretically play every single game for those 5 years. No red shirts, no waivers, none of that. That's at least my understanding of it. And if that was the case, I'd actually be okay with it. No waivers, no red shirts. You get 5 years. You can transfer 5 times. You could transfer to 5 schools, and before you commit to one each time, you could transfer to a different school for off-season workouts. I don't care. You get 5 years to play college basketball, football, baseball, tennis, whatever.
And look, a lot of coaches in this era of transfers, they are like, I know Rich Rod at West Virginia is doing this. Usually at the beginning of the season, you list freshmen that you're redshirting.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, hey, these guys are going to redshirt.
Yep.
Well, coaches aren't even doing redshirts anymore because, hey, they don't want to give somebody another team an extra year of eligibility, essentially, if they transfer.
And that's to me,
like automatic.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't believe that teams should ever use a red shirt at the D1. You go lower, you go D2, you go FCS. It's different. But at that level, I don't think anyone should be using red shirts. Like, there's no guarantee you're keeping these kids. Why would you use a year of eligibility, your recruiting time, your time practicing with them as scout team guys? They're learning all this just for them to dip out. No, man, if they can help you, use them now. Don't bother with red shirts. So that's how I feel about the matter with the way that transfers happen and the fact that everybody is eligible now. We have a text from the 785 that asks, how soon will the NCAA become the G League for the NBA? It feels like it, man. This cannot be good. There is no way this turns into a good thing for college sports. I cannot see it possibly working out that way. But the NCAA has no backbone, and this is going to keep happening until what makes college sports will not exist anymore. And that is sad to me. Do you have another headline for us?
Yeah, I do. The NFL today announced multiple things, including it will not change the Super Bowl halftime show. Bad Bunny is going to be the halftime performer, which nobody should make the NFL do it. So shout out to them for sticking to it. Also, the NFL announced they are going to move the Pro Bowl and the Pro Bowl festivities to the Super Bowl host city, and the flag football game will happen on the Tuesday night of the Super Bowl week festivities. So they're going to reimagine how they're doing it when it comes to all the opening night and everything. It'll be involved in that, which I think is good, right? Because a lot of these players are then going to the Super Bowl city the week after. Like a lot of these players that make the Pro Bowl are going to NFL honors, right?
Or they're going to Radio Row to shill like Blue Emu or something.
So they're already there. It makes life 10 times easier, and it makes 10 times easier for the NFL officials and everybody there.
More than anything, and this is featured
and also
in
it's a flag football game, so like the eyes have turned lower.
This is from the AP story about it. This is also relevant for exposing flag football in particular to a wider audience, with it going to be included in the 2028 games. Roger Goodell mentioned that they're going to continue playing flag football and adds, flag has become a global game. Our players have embraced playing in that all-star format. We think it is really important to continue that initiative. I don't know. If it's on a Tuesday night, I might watch. Like Saturday or Sunday afternoon, whenever it's been. Like, I'm definitely not watching. I got other stuff to do. But, yeah, I mean, I might turn it on when my kid goes to bed. Like, maybe. I don't know. I'm not, like, dying to watch it, but
I think it makes it worthwhile that it's in the host city. Right? Like, if you're not going to have like you did where it was in Hawaii for all those years, like you might as well just plosh it all into one. And it makes it easier for logistics for a lot of things.
Next headline for me today from around the world of sports. Let's do this one. Tony Vitello. If you know that name, you're probably into college baseball. Tony Vitello has been the head coach at the University of Tennessee for Volunteers baseball. He is leaving Tennessee, and he is going to be the new manager of the San Francisco Giants. 47-year-old Tony Vitello, and according to Jeff Passan of ESPN, he will be the first ever coach to jump from college coach to MLB manager with no professional experience. They're good. That's a good program. They won a championship recently. They've been churning out Major League Baseball players. That is a good program. That is also a big-time jump to go from the SEC to Major League Baseball. If he can do it, this is going to end in disaster one way or the other, Spencer. And here's why. Either A, he can't do it and it's just a disaster for the Giants and they bail out as quickly as they can. B, it works for Vitello and the Giants, and then other teams try to do the same thing, cut costs, don't go with major league guys. We're going to go hire college guys to do this, but they're going to hire worse head coaches / managers, and it will fail for them. So it's either going to fail for the Giants, or it will start a trend that will lead to other teams failing with these additions. I'm being somewhat facetious, but also not really. Also this, and this is the real reason that I wanted to make sure to bring this story to the table today. How familiar are you, Spencer, with Tennessee Volunteers fans?
A little bit. I kind of dabbled into their world after former Marshall women's basketball coach Kim Caldwell was named the head coach when I was given some insider information. So the people on Twitter, they are very crazy.
They're nuts. They are absolutely nuts. And some folks in Knoxville have not taken this reported news very well that Tony Vitello is heading to San Francisco, including multiple shows on WKGN AM, the Fox Sports Knoxville station.
They're always mad about something.
Yeah, they were going nuts. Longtime host Tony Basilio, I believe is his name, spent multiple hours on the air and even wrote a blog about this on his website and said he hopes Vitello, quote, does the right thing, stays at Tennessee, and that he would be, quote unquote, miserable in the majors. Then, how about this? On the following show on WKGN, hosted by a gentleman, hold on, my link got messed up here. Here we go. Hosted by a gentleman by the name of William Patterson. Okay? Here is what he had to say about Tony Vitello going to the majors. San Francisco is a big city. There's a lot going on, said William Patterson, who then compared Dalton Knecht, the ex-Vol All-American basketball player, who's now with the Lakers, said that he's a nobody in Los Angeles. Said, quote, I'm not saying Tony Vitello will be a nobody if he went to San Francisco, but that's a busy place. There are a lot of people there. And the manager of a baseball team in the MLB is not as glorious or as big of a spectacle as it is in the SEC's baseball. SEC baseball is one of the best conferences in college baseball, constantly on TV. Do you think Major League Baseball is not constantly on TV? Tennessee baseball has constantly been in the national eye over the last couple of years. Again, because of their success. The Giants are one of the most popular teams in baseball. Vitello is one of the most well-known coaches in college baseball. What? Like, none of that is a bigger deal than managing the San Francisco Giants. I promise you, Mr. Patterson.
Well, first of all, if you get that opportunity, I think a lot of I think we've seen this jump. There's a lot of coaches. Jim Harbaugh went back to the NFL, right? To go to the Chargers. You've seen group of 5 head coaches leave to be assistant coaches in Power 5. The NIL world is crazy, man. Even at Tennessee, where you're one of the best teams in the country, right? You're expected to be. Well, maybe he just didn't want to deal with that as well. Like, hey, if I'm being looked at for this job, this is great. But also, I don't have to worry about amateur athletes wanting to get paid.
Yeah, no, and you're right about that.
Because there's so many coaches that are just overwhelmed about this in the NIL world in general that they're like, I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason why West Virginia's head baseball coach stepped down.
The defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, Jeff Hafley, he was a head coach at a Power 4 school and said, I'd rather be a coordinator in the NFL. Now, he might be an NFL head coach next year, but point remains. This host goes on to say, I've never been to San Francisco personally, and he told his co-host, I know you were talking very highly of it. Am I wrong in saying it's a little bit of a dump these days? Like, okay, all right, whatever, man. One quick thing I wanted to get to from the text line here from the 785 before we get to a commercial break and get to the KU players and Bill Self coming up. From the 785, arguing that former NBA players should not be eligible for college sports is invalid. College sports are no longer amateur, not when half of them are being paid NIL money. I think it's probably more than half at the Division I level. Appreciate the text from the 785. Again, look, I have no problem with the college kids getting paid. It's $1 billion+ industry. The tournament alone is worth over $900 million in basketball. Like, they want to get a little cut of it. I am not going to complain about that. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with literally saying these guys who are professionals, they are truly, no doubt, professionals. You're now allowed to play college sports. Like, I agree in principle with the spirit, I believe, of what our texter is saying here from the 785. Like, this isn't college sports anymore. It's certainly not amateur sports. And I just think this is a terrible, terrible thing for college sports. And I mean, they're gone as we know it, to be frank. All right, we got to get to a timeout. Spencer's got you the rest of the way. We're going to hear from the KU players. We're going to hear from Bill Self. We'll wrap things up with the final word, all in this final half hour of 580 Sports Talk.
Welcome back, 580 Sports Talk here as we get you to the KU section of Big 12 Media Day. Spencer Dupuis with you here solo for the rest of the hour, the youngest in command movement for the final 28 or so minutes. And it was a packed day at Big 12 Media Days. And obviously the man of the hour for KU was huge, big recruit, Darryn Peterson. We'll hear from him and a couple other guys here on 580 Sports Talk right now from the media availability for KU men at the Big 12 Media Days for men's basketball.
Darryn, all the attention, what's it like?
One more time?
What's all the attention like?
Nothing really. I'm kind of used to it now.
Darryn, just how's it been getting to work with these guys and be fully a part of the squad?
It's been great coming in as a freshman with two guys that have been in college basketball. They've been great mentors for me and great role models.
Has there been anything surprising about playing for Coach Self so far?
Nah, everything he told me in the recruiting process, he's been honest about. So I was prepared when I got here.
What does a successful freshman year look like for you?
A ring, both Big 12 championship and national.
Darryn, I've heard from a lot of different guys who are coming in the next few years that you've personally recruited them. Why do that even if you're not going to do things?
That's the type of guy I am, and the respect I got for the coaches and the guys that are coming after me, like TK, I got a relationship with, so I was honest with them.
What do you tell these guys?
Come to KU.
Darryn, can you talk about these two fellows as players and working together?
Two great players, and Flory and Tre, both guys, like I said before, played in college, they're used to it. Two guys I feel like I can rely on at all times. I trust them that they're going to make the right play all the time. Either it's them scoring or they pass to somebody else and make a good play.
Flory, is there anything that feels different, this year compared to what it was last year with all the new guys coming in? Is the play different at all?
Not really, I would say. Obviously, we have DP with us and a couple new players. Looking forward for it, and then can't wait to show y'all what we can do.
Flory, what's one thing, like if you were to think of one moment from DP so far in practice, what stands out the most?
Man, I would say he make everything look so easier, probably. There's more to say about it, but, just him creating his own shot is probably one of them.
Darryn, do you feel any extra pressure to be one of the top recruits in the country just to come and be that guy right away?
Right. Obviously, I feel some of it, but not really, because at the end of the day, it's just basketball for me. I know there's a lot of outside stuff being said about me, but I feel like this is my destiny and purpose, so if it's going to be what it's going to be.
Flory, what did you try to add to your game going into your sophomore season, just to try and get better at it?
I haven't had a barbecue yet.
I'll probably say leadership is one of them. I
don't know.
A couple great players last year who taught me a lot, so probably bring some leadership to newcomers.
What is your perception of it as you're coming into KU of what the Big 12 is like to compete in?
Did you ever have that? Great. I think it's the best of the best, honestly. I feel like I fit in well to come in here and try to win the Big 12. I know it's going to be a hard fight throughout the whole year. I feel like my team is here today.
Derek, for you and AJ, playing so much against each other in high school and the rankings and everything like that, did you ever think you were going to end up in the same conference? And then kind of what is it like when you guys are both in the Big 12 now?
I didn't think about the same conference, honestly, but now that we are, another opponent that I'm trying to kill once we step in the court. I'm always trying to get the win and always trying to dominate.
DP, you mentioned a lot of outside stuff. How do you keep the main thing?
Really just my circle really tight. My parents, they help me with that, and even my teammates and coaches, they tell me it's going to be ups and downs throughout the year. But just embrace it, and as a hooper, I got to do that.
Yeah, who do you lean on the most?
On my team, or
just like in family?
In general, probably my older brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has he said that's kind of stuck with you?
Really told me once the season starts to get off social media, which is something I think I'm gonna do. Because I know if I have a bad game, it's going to be going crazy, or a good game, so I'd rather just not even see any of it, just hoop.
Darryn, a lot of your teammates have talked about being hard on you in practice to make you as prepared as possible for the season. What does that look like on a daily basis?
Either it's through fouling or holding and grabbing or trying to get in my head. It's a lot of different stuff, but I know it's all out of love and they want to see me do good, so I appreciate them for it.
And how has it helped you so far?
it's new for me being in college, so I know there's certain stuff that they do that they know. Well, my team is all older guys, so they all are experienced, so they know certain fouls and certain tactics that they can get away with, and I think I got to adjust, and they're helping me where it needs to be.
And Flory, what does it look like for you challenging Darryn in practice?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, I want the best for him, so as long as I go hard and then make sure he be the best version of himself, you know, I'm good with it.
Sure. Flory, what can Darryn do, you know, for your game?
Oh, man, he's a great point guard, you know. He can create for himself, you know, and then that make, like, everybody wide open, you know. Just like him drawing the attention for, like, 2 or 3 players, you know, make every players, you know, wide open, you know, and easy, like, you know, to score.
Darryn, with late night in the fog this past week, that was your first, you know, kind of real experience playing at the Fieldhouse. So what were your thoughts on that?
It was great. I don't know if you watched, but we didn't make many shots, but I'm glad we got them all out of the way now. And just to see the fans and stuff come out, I know it's going to be a great year.
That was Darryn Peterson and Flory Bidunga of KU basketball meeting with the assembled media in a breakout session, including our own Dan Lucero slipping in a few questions there earlier today at Big 12 Men's Hoops Media Days in Kansas City. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, you'll hear Bill Self's audio from his breakout session earlier today that Dan was able to attend. You're listening to 580 Sports Talk here on 580 WIBW. Back in a few.
Here's what
Welcome back. This edition of 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuy with you, and the youngest in command. Movement for the next 18 or so minutes here as we wrap up today's edition of 580 Sports Talk. And to do that, we're going to hear from the one, the only, the legendary head coach Bill Self. Spoke at a breakout session earlier today with our own Dan Lucero and a multitude of other reporters on the ground at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri for the Big 12 Men's Basketball Media Day. Let's hear it. Bill Self, head coach of the Jayhawks.
Bill, for your exhibition on Friday against Louisville, is that going to be the same sort of like two halves thing, or are you going to do situational stuff like that?
I think we're going to play it like a game. So at least that's how we're approaching it. Pat and I haven't discussed it to do it different. So, if maybe we could talk about it today or tomorrow, but I'm going into it thinking it's going to be played like a game. So.
Devonta and Peterson coming into this league, clear cut 1-2, depending on who you look at, one's 1, one's 2. It's been a while since this league's had that kind of hype and that kind of talent come in, two freshmen like that.
I don't know that I can remember two in the same class. But, I mean, hey, we did have a run where, Durant's at Texas, Beasley at K-State, and Griffin at Oklahoma back-to-back years. And so the league's had elite players that are potential high draft picks. There's no doubt about that. And then, of course, we had Wiggs and Joel, that went 1 and 3. But I don't know that I can remember in a high school class that two players are coming into to this league in such a competitive high school class, because there's other good players out there besides these two that have the chance to be a first team All-American type guy.
Coach, how does DP's talent stack up to the other NBA players, the other All-Americans you've coached here?
Well, his talent is, it's as good as any of them. His IQ, basketball-wise, his feel, I think stacks up with the best that we've ever had here, regardless of talent. He's a terrific prospect, and he's also a terrific player. And sometimes they can be a little bit different because maybe the player hasn't caught up to the prospect yet. But he's in my opinion ready to have a big year. Is it too much pressure for him? I don't think so, because for him to go where he wants to go, he's going to deal with that on a daily basis anyway. So we're obviously excited about him, but he's well beyond his years.
How does he take to coaching? How does he take to it?
How does he take to coaching?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he wants to be coached. I think players still yearn for discipline. They want to be coached. They want to get better. They want to be told what makes them better. The great ones all want that, and he's certainly a guy that he wants to be pushed each and every day, and he wants to be told what he can do better, not told what he already does good.
Bill, how's he made the team around him better, just with the distribution or just putting them in place to score better?
Well, I think the one thing very, very positive is he's approached this in a very mature way, where he's let his talent and his commitment do his talking for him. So he's got everyone's respect. And everybody knows, because they've seen enough, that when he's good, guess what? I'm better too, because they can play off of him. And when he's aggressive and playing like that, he'll make the game easier for others. But on the flip side of that, the others can make the game easier for him. And just an example, if people want to take the ball out of his hands and they trap him, well, there is an opportunity to play 4-on-3 behind that. So in many ways. And so guys understand that that's an opportunity for me. Getting the ball to him on time, on target, is probably something that they take more serious maybe than in the past, because they think that can lead to an immediate good result. So I think they fit together pretty well. Now, granted, never played together over an extended period of time, but by January, I would think this could be a team that could be chemistry could be pretty good.
Coach, how different is this time period compared to the last couple of years? And obviously the number ones the past couple of years, but also just knowing what you had coming back. How much of a learning process is different than years past for you and for the guys?
I don't think we actually know what we have yet. So if that's, till the lights come on and you see, well, how does this freshman handle this pressure and this and that? Last year we were probably more capable to handle that moment, but probably not as capable from an athletic standpoint to actually play near as athletic as we wanted to play. So my opinion, this year's team is more pleasing for me to watch. But, it still remains to be seen if this year's team early in the season can play to the maturity level that, a young team will have to play to. But it's a fun group. It's a fun group to watch.
Obviously, you had high expectations for Darryn, but on or off the court, is there anything that surprised you about what he's brought to your team?
I don't know that there's been anything that surprised me about what he brings to the table, except I don't even think that I realized that his ability to feel the game and put the game in slow motion is as good as what it is. I've said this many times, the younger you are, the game's played in fast forward. And the older you get, the slower the game becomes, so it becomes played in slow motion. And he's young, but he still has the game. To me, he sees it in slow motion.
Coach, who is an X factor that we need to be looking out for this upcoming year?
Well, I think there's several. But Tre White is a good player. Bryson Tiller is a good player. Cole Rosario is a good player. He's just young, and same with Bryson. But to me, Darryn will do what he does. We kind of know about Flory and that stuff. Melvin Council. We got a bunch of guys that really need to have big years for us to complement, basically Flory and Darryn. But those ones I just mentioned, I think, have the potential to have, really big years.
What about Cole Rosario's game is most Big 12 ready for you?
I'd say physically athletic. He's a Big 12 athlete from a physical standpoint and from a vertical standpoint. What he needs to do to be Big 12 ready is he needs to be there from a scoring standpoint too. We need him to score and make shots, and because there's some things that he can do that you can't coach. But that's one thing that for us to be good, we got to have somebody that can do that.
Bill, you talked about Cole Rosario's rise and how well he's played. Do you see him as a guy that could potentially contend for a starting spot as a freshman?
Do I think Cole can?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'll start on Friday. There's no doubt about that. Now, whether or not it stays that way, but as of today, he's a starter for us as of today. Yeah.
Coach, what's different about starting this year rather than starting years in the past? What's something different you found?
I would say, depending if you're talking about last year or over time, I would say a difference this year would be the unknown. I don't really know what to expect yet. When you're returning 4 starters off a team that won 30, you have a better idea what to expect. And we don't have that. Everything's new to everybody. Even Flory has a different role. We returned one guy that played in the game last year or scored a basket last year. So I think the unknown is different, but I also think the excitement of the unknown is also refreshing too.
Coach, what do you think about G League players being able to be in the transfer portal and apply for eligibility?
I don't want to knock it from a standpoint that who knows, we may be recruiting one before it's all said and done. But I got to know the rule better because I didn't know it was just limited to G League. I thought a guy could get cut in the NBA and be eligible for college. My personal opinion is I have no idea what we're doing. What are we doing? So we're going to go recruit we're going to call NBA teams and G League teams to find out who would potentially be available, and that's who we're going to recruit now, as opposed to high school kids or even portal kids. And what is the actual rule? Does it have to fit within a 5-year window? Can he go to college first? I don't really understand it well enough to comment too much, other than why wouldn't everybody declare for the draft? If it doesn't work out, go back to college. Why? I mean, if it is the way that I think it is, which it may not be because I don't understand it well enough yet, it's going to open up some unintended consequences that we're going to have to deal with for sure.
Coach, what has impressed you most about the leadership of Brent Yormark?
Aggressiveness, not sitting back and letting the status quo be the norm. Always trying to push the envelope. No matter where we're at, how do we get better? That's what I think, from my standpoint, that has impressed me most about our leadership at the league level, in that men's basketball has been really good, but the whole deal is, how do we get better?
Coach,
so that would be must.
Sorry. How much will you adapt the way that you guys play offensively, not just with the high usage star like Darryn, but maybe less traditional post presence than you've had in the past?
Well, we've actually, to be honest with you, we've gotten away from the traditional post presence in the last decade compared to what it was when I first got to school there. I mean, we played inside out all the time. I don't think we're doing that near as much, but we'll do it even less this year, probably because we don't have Hunt. So I think more of an open floor, hopefully driving lanes situation that will create for better perimeter play as opposed to standard watch. I at least I'm hopeful with that.
That was KU head coach Bill Self at the Big 12 Media Day for basketball at the breakout session with our own Dan Lucero and many other members of the media. We'll be back to wrap things up. A final word coming up right after this here on 580 WIBW. Final word time here on 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuy with you for this final word, the youngest in command movement. And quite interesting the way Bill Self paused earlier when he was asked about the G League player and all that. Now, things are trending in the NCAA. We know they were able to transfer more often than the NIL window, or then pay to play NIL window all came. So it's very interesting to see the direction in which college basketball is going to go, college sports in general. We'll just have to get our front row seat and watch it happen. And basketball season's coming before you know it, but also Sunflower Showdown weekend on the gridiron. We'll get you ready for that tomorrow. We'll also have Rick Peterson at TopSports.news for our local sports spotlight coming up on tomorrow's show, as well as Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, and maybe a college basketball guest. Still working on that, and much, much more as we wrap up today's edition of 580 Sports Talk. Again, tomorrow we'll be on the air from 3 until 6. For Brendan Dorzinski, Dan Lucero, I'm Spencer Fleece saying good night, everyone.